So next is like we are going to learn about the C programming. So first concept is like introduction to C. So we are going to learn about what is C and how we are going to use the C programming and what is the structure of C programming and how we can write the code in C programming. So C programming was developed in the year 1970 by Dennis Ritchie. So he is the founder of or the developer of C programming at Bell Laboratory. So Dennis Ritchie is the developer of C programming and it was developed in the year 1970. So C programming were used to write the software codes. So to develop any software we need to write some program. So the C program were introduced to develop some softwares. Okay. So C programming is very robust. So since there are many inbuilt functions, so we can use the C programming to do the complex processes. So that's why we are going to use the C programming. Next is like C is portable. So portable means it can be run in Mac OS, it can be run in Windows OS, it can be run in Ubuntu, Linux. Okay, so that's why we are going to call the C program as portable language. So then we are going to learn about the structure. So also C is an structure and procedure oriented. So structure and procedure oriented means you need to follow the basic structure of C to write any program. Okay, you need to follow the structure or the rules of a C program to build any programs. Okay, C and C++ are structure and procedure oriented. After that you are going to have Java, Python, C# are all object oriented. So those are all object oriented, these are all structure and procedure oriented. So the next part is like structure of C programming. Structure of C programming. In the structure, like we need to follow these steps to write any program. Okay, so the first one is like preprocess directives. Preprocessor directives are the first line, that is you are going to include some libraries with the help of #include. So with the help of #include we are going to use some directives. It may be an stdio, that is standard input output dot header files, or it may be into this standard input and output header files is used for printf and scanf, that is for input like the data from the user and the data to the user we are going to use the stdio.h, and for some mathematical operation like power, average, max, min, so that's in that scenario we are going to use the math.h as an header file. To clear the screen we are going to use the conio.h. To deal with the string we are going to use the strings.h. Okay, so this is about the preprocessive directive. Next is like global declaration. So this global declaration is like declaring some variables in the global part, so that it can be used in anywhere of the program. So if I use the global declaration, I can use that variable in any part of my program. Okay. So next is like function, that is, in every C program there must be a function, that is default function, that is main function. So if you run any C program, the execution will going to be start from the main function itself. So the execution will going to start from main function. Okay. So if I going to write this structure, means main function. So here we are going to use the local declaration, local variable declaration. And you have some statements to execute. Statement 1 or the logic, statement 2. So you can have another like inbuilt like user defined functions also. When it comes to the function, I will explain how user defined function is going to be worked and called and everything. So now for the basic, you need to understand about the like structure. So first one is like preprocessor directive. We are going to import some header files, and the second one is like global declaration. So you can have some global variables which can be called anywhere in the program. So next is like the main function. So in main function we are going to declare some local variable. These local variables is only having only the scope of this variable is within the main function itself. You cannot use these variables outside the main function. You can use the global variables inside and outside the main function. Okay. So in declaration, then is like the logic of the program. So this is the structure of C program. Okay. So now we are going to write a program to find the diameter of a circle. So we are going to write a program to check or to analyze the diameter of a circle. So the first step is like we need to import some variables or some header files. So now I am going to use the hash include. I need the input output header files. So that's why I am going to use stdio.h, standard input output dot header files. Next, I am not going to use any global variables, so that's why it is an optional one. Then I will going to use write the main function. Main function should starts with flower braces and it should end with flower braces. Any function should will start with flower braces and end with flower braces. Now I need to declare some variables. So I will declare float. Float, int are the data types. When it comes to the data types, I will explain float, int and everything. So float r comma d. So r is for to take the input of radius and to to detect the diameter and to store the diameter value. I am going to use the d variable. Okay. So next I need to take the radius value from the user. So that's why I need to have some you need to enter the radius value. So this is the output I should give to the user so that he can enter the radius value. So for that I will going to use printf. So this will give the output to the user dashboard or user monitor or user screen. Enter radius. Every statement in C programming should end with semicolon. Okay. So next I need to take this data and store it to the R. So if the user give input, I need to take that input. So that's why I am going to use the scanf, scanning that value. So for that, since I am using the float value, I need to use the percentile f. Okay, so this percentile f will have the value of the R or the user, the value which is entered by the user will be in the form of float, and I will store that value into the address of R. So if I declare any variable, the compiler will allocate some memory space to this variable. So for R there will be a memory space with the address 1033. Okay, so in that address, since I am going to use the float value, it is of 4 bytes. 4 bytes of data it can be stored. So these 4 bytes of memory allocation is given to the R. Okay, so if I take the input from the user, I need to store that value to the address of R, not to the R, address of R. So in address of R, if I give 6.2 means it will going to be stored in the address of R. Okay. Since I have taken the radius value, I need to do the computation for diameter. D is equals to 2 R square or R into R. So R into R will give us the diameter. Okay. So now we are going to print that value. Percentile f comma d. The value is in d. So the percentile f comma d will yield the value of the output. So this is how you are going to write the C program. This is a simple C program. Like further we are going to use some complex programs to write the C structure. Okay. So the next concept is like variables and constants. So variable and constant. So variable is used to store the data of an user or data. It's an temporary storage. So until and unless program kills, the variable value is going to be assigned. Okay. So to declare any variable, there is some rules, set of rules to name the any variable. So the first rule is like the variable name should starts with alphabets only. So the variable name should starts with alphabets only. Starts. And it can have numbers, only one special character, that is underscore. So you can have numbers and the underscore. Variable name should not have the spaces. So the variable name should not have the spaces. For example, if I am having radius value, I need not to give any space. Like you can use the underscore for in the place of space. Okay. Next is like variables should not, variable name should not collide with keywords or reserved words. C is having some reserved words. Reserved words are like int, float, char, double, if, else, for, while, do. So these are all the reserved words. So if I give int, the function of the int keyword is already programmed in a compiler. So you need not to give these reserved words. Overall 32 reserved words are there in C programming. You need not to give the reserved words as the variable name. So variable name should starts with alphabets only, and it can have numbers and only a one special character, that is underscore, and should not have any spaces, and variable name should not collide with the reserved words. Reserved words are like int, float, char, double, if, else, while, do, while, for, break, continue, okay, const. So these are all the reserved words. So we cannot use the reserved word name as the variable name. Okay. For example, the variable name may be int a or int a underscore 1 or float b underscore underscore underscore. You can use all these as an variables. You cannot, this can be accepted. You cannot have this. Since it is not starting with alphabet, you cannot use this. The C program or the compiler will throw us an error. It will throw us an error like you have not correctly or properly declared the variable. So this is how we are going to use the variables. Okay. So to declare any variable, you need to give the data type or the type of the variable. So what data you are going to store, that type you need to give. So in C programming, we are having one concept, that is data types. This will specify the data type of an variable. So you are having 7 to 8, 10 types of data types, that is int, that is integers, only a numbers. Next is like float, it may be a decimal up to 6 decimal points. Next is like char, to store the character A, B, C, only a single character. Next is like double, like for int the memory allocation will be 2 bytes. For float, 4 bytes of memory allocation. For char, single byte. Since we are going to store only a single character in the char, so we are going to have only a single byte. And double is 4 bytes. So this is a data type, so which will represents the variable, like what are all the values can a variable store. We need to specify the data type. So you need to specify the data type. So to declare any variable, first you need to give the data type. Data type, accept only integer value, accept only float value, accept only character value. So int a, this is a declaration. If I do int a equals 0 means this is initialization. Okay, so this is how the data types are used to declare a variable. Okay, so next concept is like constants. Next concept is like constant. So constant is like the keyword used to specify a constant is const. Constant a. So constants are used to specify a value to a particular variable. So if I specify a is equals to 4.5, okay, if I specify a is equals to 4.5, this a value will not going to be changed. This a value will not going to be changed. You cannot implicitly or explicitly change the value of a. So constant is like the a value is fixed to 4.5. If you are going to change a is equals to 5, this will throw us an error. So you cannot convert or change the value of a constant variable. So it will throw an error, like you cannot change the value of a constant. So to specify particular value to a variable, we are going to use the constant keyword. So constant concept is going to be used if I need not to change the value of a particular variable, we are going to use the constant. So in variable, int a is equals to 10. So I have initialized a is equals to 10. In later on my program, I will assign a is equals to 11. This is going to be changed. The value of a is going to be changed to 11. But in constant concept, we cannot change the or manipulate the value of the constant variable. So in variable concept, we can change the value of variable. Like if I going to initialize it with 10, I will assign 11 or 12 or something in the later on my program. Okay, so this is about the so the next concept is like how we are going to compile or execute an C program. So suppose if you are going to create one program, so you need to give the command as Pluma program name dot C. So Pluma program name dot C. If I am going to add if I need to write a program to add two numbers, I will create Pluma addition dot C. Addition dot C. So if the user or any other person is going to see this file, so he can understand, so this program is for addition of numbers. Okay, so then after writing the program in this file, so if I execute Pluma addition.c, so it will create addition.c C file or C programming file. So open and edit, like we are going to write the program there. After that, I need to compile my program. So for that, I need to write command cc program name cc program name dot c. So cc program name dot c. So cc means compile C program. So it will compile our addition dot c. So in compilation it will give us errors if the syntax is not matched with the C structure. If we are not going to follow any syntax or any semantic errors, it will give us the error. If the compilation is completed successfully, you need to take the output from the program. So you need to give the command as /a dot out, /a.out. So this will give us the output of the program. So this will ask you to enter the numbers, and then it will going to print that addition value to your monitor or screen. Okay, so first you need to create one C program file, that is pluma addition.c. Then you are going to compile your program. So it will check for any syntax error. So the command is like cc addition.c. Then you are going to get the output from the program. So for that you need to give the command as /a.out. So this is about the compilation and execution of any C program. Okay.